Welcome back. Now we're going to be switching our conversation to talk about music. Afro Beats is doing amazing things around the world. We did see statistics, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, about Wizkid selling out the O2 Arena in 12 minutes. Something that very few people around the world have been able to achieve. And a lot of these conversations now about artists, global stars in Hollywood featuring Nigerian albums are becoming so normal now that it don't even seem like such a big deal. We're going to be talking about what Afrobeats is doing and where it's headed. I'm joined by Motolani and Kema. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Emeka.
having us.
Yeah, Motolani, like I said, a lot of these conversations now seem very normal to a lot of us. We did hear Tiwa Savage dropped her album, or her EP, I beg your pardon, featuring Nas and Brandy. These were things that 5 years ago would have been crazy news. These days it seems so normal. It almost feels like even those are the guys that are trying to attach to the artists here. How did we get here, and do you think this is a wave, or do you think it's here to stay?
It's a bit of there's some histrionics attached to this. It felt like 10 years ago, it felt like Africa was the only place that American music capitalism had touched and cohabited, so to speak. They had tried at several points in the past. Foreign labels were here. They left in the 90s with the era of the military rule. And they had gone to the Caribbean. Latin pop had 3 waves. Dancehall had like 3 waves. K-pop had its second wave. Gangnam Style was the #1 record. So it felt like Africa was the one place that hadn't had its moon. Australia even had its own Gotcha and Kimbra, Lord, all of them. So when it came to the thing with Africa, you couldn't blame them for a while because our system was kind of dysfunctional. We had structural issues. But at the same time, as internet penetration kept going further and streaming was making the world more of a global village, and the sound itself was traveling more organically because of the internet is becoming making the world like a global village, like leveling the playing field. So it felt like the only thing that these guys could do was get to Africa and do something with Africa. As regards if it's a wave, I don't. It's the attention might not be. It's like with dancehall and K-pop and Latin pop over the years, we have seen that it's going to maybe over the next 5 years, the attention is going to shift again. But African artists are here to stay in America. They might not be like in demand like Latin pop was like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, but they are never going to go back to being nobodies on the global stage. That's what I think, because Afrobeats is going to have like a Grammy category of its own very soon.
Kema, do you agree? Because, like you said, the dancehall argument always comes up. I mean, we had the Sean Pauls and Sean Kingstons and all of that, and it looks like America moved on, so to speak. I mean, there's still a dancehall category. There's reggae will always be there, but it seemed like it was a wave, and we don't seem to have as many sort of superstars coming out of the Caribbean or Jamaica in particular anymore. So, do you agree that it's Afrobeats is here to stay, or they'll soon be done with us?
Absolutely. I believe Afrobeat is here to stay. And if you see the kind of collaborations that we're having right now, looking at, I know we referenced Tiwa Savage, referenced Wizkid. I'm going to reference Burna Boy, for instance, Twice as Tall album. You could see the massive collaborations that went in there, even with the production that happened on there. We have Femi Kuti as well, and Madi Kuti as well, working with Coldplay. So definitely is here to stay. And what's also interesting is you're finding the American artists that focus so much on true musicianship, tapping into this great Afrobeat artists here in Nigeria, and in Africa. So yes, definitely it is actually here to stay.
Kema, still with you now. I want to talk about sort of the sound of what Afrobeats is. There are people who are purists who have even said, first of all, adding the S to Afrobeat was already a crime. And, we've watered down what Fela thought it was. And now with Afrobeats even, which we are now trying to sort of globalize, there was a lot of people who were almost upset that Justin Bieber jumped on Wizkid's Essence, for example. Oh, they're making it even more white now. How far can we go with this sound? What's allowed? What's not allowed? What can Afrobeats do? How can we sort of still keep it as authentic as we want it without sort of restricting ourselves from the rest of the world?
Well, in my opinion, I think by just staying true to what the genre Afrobeat is, we can still maintain that that sound, because it could be the same thing for the guys in the US. You know, they have their sound, they have the instrumentals that they use for their to connect to their audience, but they still find a way to connect with us. So for me, I would say that as long as we maintain the elements of what Afrobeat is, or what Afrobeats is, which is elements of high life, you have elements of Fuji, you have funk, you have jazz, you have soul. I mean, and you're also telling the story, you know, like you telling the story of Africa to the people, you know, we are collaborating with the guys in the US, and pretty much just keeping the elements of what Afrobeat is. I'm not trying to diffuse the sound. I think that's what I'm trying to articulate. You know, just keeping the elements of the sound should, I mean, that should help to maintain the sound for Afrobeat. I don't think it's changing anything. If not, it's making people want to look for ways to enhance Afrobeat. You know, if I could say.
Motolani, just leading off from that, first of all, were you one of those offended by the Justin Bieber feature? And secondly, is there actually an Afrobeat sound?
First of all, I wasn't one of the people offended by it. I was the person that said that Essence might need a remix if it's going to get as high as possible. And a lot of people came after me because they were ignorant. And a lot of people are just particular about ownership. And it's a problem because we have to realize two things. If art can inspire art has failed. If culture can inspire culture has failed. Right? There was a time when heeled shoes, men were wearing heeled shoes in some parts of mainstream Europe in the Renaissance era or something. When it got to some other parts, women started wearing it, and now it's become the norm across the world. The reality is this: if you don't want people, you can't own art, you can't own culture. The best you can do is lay claim to its origins. There is nothing you can do about it. Culture and art will go as far as they want to go because those things travel with people. Look at it this way. How can you be mad that some people want to be part of Afrobeats when we are making hip hop? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Does that even make any sense? So stop making hip hop then if you want to own Afrobeats and you don't want people to jump on Afrobeats. I mean, I get the part where people are talking about gentrification and some other things. But here's the thing. Maybe you should stop wearing jeans as well, because I'm going to start wearing Babari and Dashiki. So let's know that you want to stay true to your origins. Because if Afrobeats is going to go as far as possible, Afrobeats will need the stamp of American music capitalism to own it. And if it's going to happen, it's going to need to appeal to white America in an extensive way. Like if a record is going to get to number one or the top 10 in the US, for example, it means crack white America. It's not black people. Black people are under 15% of America. White people are about 60%. Like, it means you must appeal to a wider audience. There is no way in the world that people will not want other people to jump on Afrobeats. That's the only way the sound is going to go global. That's the only way where it's going to be easily monetizable. That's the only way it's going to be profitable for everybody. And the other problem that I have is this, like, we had a problem with it for a long time because it sort of boxed our music, the Afrobeats with the S. Like Kema said, Afrobeats is even a product of different genres. It's African pop music. African pop music is, like she was saying, hip hop. There's even hip hop in there. There's R&B in there. There are some records that you hear that they are dancehall. There's Afro swing now. I don't know why people are just trying to hold on to something that they can't hold on to. You can't control it. That's just the reality. You can't. And as the faster you dealt with that, the better for you and everybody else. I don't understand.
So, a question to both of you, but let me start with you. You want to say something?
Okay. Yes. There's something you said about leveraging on the American capitalists, which, you know, put a thought to my head. Like, so what is the role of Africa in building its own? You know, like, I mean, I find that, yes, it almost seems like for you to be appreciated and recognized, you have to be giving accolades in the US? What happens to us in Africa? What happens to our Cora Award, for instance, which used to be like one of the biggest awards, in Africa? What happens here? So I'm more because if America shuts down today for whatever reason, what happens to our talent here in Africa?
All right. So Askema takes over my show. Motolani, you want to answer?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ebuka. I just couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
Here is what we need to understand first. Streaming accounted for like over 63% of like the global revenue last year, and we're looking at we live in a country where under 2 million people have premium plans on streaming platforms, right? And then streaming platforms, when they come here, they have to adapt their prices to fit the landscape. Like you have a Deezer, for example, that was like $7 until April or May when Spotify came, and they had to start charging 900.
I think we lost Motolani again. All right, while we're trying to get that sorted, let me come to you now, Kema, just before we go. Where do you think the new sound is coming from? There's a lot of, probably in the last 2 years, we've had the most amount of new school artists, probably in our history, come through, and all of them seem to be doing great. Who are you excited about? Who do you think, we take over the mantle from the Davidos, the Wizkids, the Burna Boys, who are sort of killing it right now? Where's the next wave coming from?
Oh my God, I'm such a huge fan of Fireboy. Huge fan of Fireboy. And then Omale is also really growing on me. Like he has something about his voice. There's just something so unique about him. But I can't help but still feel and believe that all of these inspirations for them they draw inspiration from Afrobeat. Regardless of how it might sound, I think it's just a new way of tweaking it and making it more appealing to the sound that we have, like the Gen Zs are listening to right now. So for me, I still think that Afrobeat has a huge influence in whatever sound that you want to make. Like I said, Afrobeat has a lot of different elements from hip hop, funk, soul, whatever it is you have. You draw inspiration from any of all these genres. You draw it from Afrobeat. So yes, Fireboy is my number one, and then I also have Omale. Like the sound is pretty good. So I think, especially Fireboy, actually, I think if he continues at this pace and rate that he's on, definitely will be global.
What do you think of? A lot of people have said that Wizkid's essence would not have been as great as it is if Thames wasn't featured. And one of the reasons why people are even upset is that, Justin Bieber didn't do enough justice to what Thames had done before with the hook and the chorus and all of that. Someone like her, where do you think she's headed? Because she's quite unconventional, right?
Thames reminds me so much. There's something about her that reminds me of Asha, right? And I'm a huge fan of Wizkid as well. I'm really biased when it comes to Wizkid. So saying that without Thames on the album, on the song, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think they complemented themselves, but I'm one of those that believe that anything Wizkid touches is gold, personally. And then having
I agree.
Justin Bieber feature on it, it's great. It's good to see. It was a nice twist. Having him on, did it take or add to the song? I don't know. I'm not sure he did. But in terms of streaming and then also
It was a masterstroke.
cross marketing and collaboration, obviously it's amazing, because what you just did now is hardcore fans of Justin Bieber finding out who Wizkid is and also finding out who Thames is. And then before you know what's happening, they're going to look for their albums, and then you recruit new fans. You open the markets, in Canada or wherever, So for me, I think it's actually a good one. Thames is on an amazing part. I can't wait to hear like an EP or a proper album that she's going to put out, because we always have like all those one-hit wonders. They come, they do something amazing, and then before you know what's happening, they're trying to switch up. I think that happens with being a creative. you don't want to be stuck in a box, and then you start trying out new sound and new things, and it could work for you, and then you might also miss. So Thames is here to stay. I'm a huge fan of Wizkid. I love Essence. With or without Thames on Essence, I think it's going to be a hit. I think it was a great, because another thing I find with artists is being able to know who can match your sound and bring out the elements of the music, right? Which I think what Wizkid did well by tapping into Thames' sound as well, because he understands what he does. So having Thames on that album just even made us appreciate her sound even more, because he was able to attach her to a song that she could bring out the essence, so to speak.
Quickly before we round up, I did ask the question, where do you think the next sound for Afrobeats is coming from? We seem to have 3-4 big guns right now. There's Tiwa, there's Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, and all the others. But there's a lot of young people now coming through. Who are you excited about?
I'm excited about all of them. The good thing about all of these guys is that they seem to have they are diverse. The sound is not just Afro pop. A lot of them can make trap, they can make R&B, they can make a lot of genres. I think the next wave of stars from Africa are probably not going to be making African pop music. I think there will be some trap artists, there will be some drill artists that will be signed to majors, and they will just go there and take off. Another thing that I think is, I think we should just look at Nigeria when we're talking about Afrobeats. Afrobeats is like an umbrella term for African pop music, and African pop music is touches a lot of Africa. So we're talking about Ghana. And I think I have a feeling that sukus like Makossa from like Congo and like Francophone Africa will make a comeback over the next 5 years. And it's going to be major. I really think so.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Thank you very much, Motolani. Thank you very much, Kema, for your contributions. We're all excited for the future of Nigerian music and looking forward to great things to come. We're going to take another break now and come back. Please don't go away. All right, welcome back. We're going to be talking about something that's probably a little, for want of a better word, interesting, but can also be serious sometimes, because people have accused the media in particular and some employers of labor of being guilty of sort of festering what we have termed in Nigeria fake accents, or phone, in this part. It's a very interesting conversation to have. I know people who have lost jobs because they didn't sound a certain way, and people have decided to sort of force it. We're going to take a quick break now and come back. Please don't go away.